I was gonna say grandma, but
I'm Bubby anyway, so
that's good.
remember that. I'm
I had a
Bubby.
Bubby once.
Yeah,
Let her rest in
Bubby.
peace. She was a horrible
I
person.
almost.
She wasn't really. She couldn't cook. She couldn't discipline. She said, Dovidal, she said, Dovidal, don't touch the piece of wood on top of the coal stove, which is currently burning at 5 million degrees Fahrenheit. And I said, why, Bubby, why? She said, never mind. So I touched it and it was hot. And then she schlepped me into her mysterious Bubby closet with its shelves going up to the moon. And she put oil on my burnt finger. Now, not only was I in pain,
You were
my
fried.
finger was oily. I'm 5 years old. I know not to do that. Really.
See, my Bubby came from Vienna
Oh.
and made a mean strudel.
Oh, that's very
Oh.
nice. Yes. Okay. My Bubby would buy 1 pound of farmer cheese, and from that 1 pound of farmer cheese, she would make cheesecake, cheese blintzes, cheese, whatever it was. And my mother said, you know how she manages that? She doesn't put cheese in the food, she waves it over there.
It's like just
She
a
was
thought.
on a low cholesterol diet, obviously.
A sprinkle.
Yeah, well,
A
So you get a
sprinkle.
waft of air and you thought you had some.
just one more. We would go visit her on Shabbos after shul. Shul alone lasted 3 days. They didn't give you a sandwich. My father had to go visit because this is his mama. Let her rest in peace. He's also gone. Let him rest in peace. All right. So I said, Bubby, I said, do you have any toys? She goes, toys? I said, yes, toys such as a now 7-year-old would play with. I don't got toys. There's no toys here. Go in the other room. I'll say, yes, yes. She says, there's a hand treadle. There's a foot treadle sewing machine. I said, what should I do with it? She says, move the treadle. That's my toy. That's what I had. I wonder if this, I'm being exploited.
I could beat you on that one. My mother, we went to a Hanukkah party, and my parents were much older. We went to a Hanukkah party in the family, and all the kids, the younger kids, I was 8 at the time, the kids are opening up presents. I'm wondering, why isn't there anything for me? And so my mother proceeds to say, you know, Hanukkah's for little kids. I was
She couldn't just give you a buck.
You were 8?
Yeah, sweetheart. Go down to the corner store, buy something.
But now she's grown, now she's grown up and she gets married and her mother buys me for my birthday a power washer. And what is this? I said,
Why not?
wait, I said to my wife, I go, why did she buy me a power washer? The next day the phone rings and said, Jay, how did you like your power washer? Would you come over and do my front porch?
What good is relatives if you can't exploit them?
No, I think it's adorable.
Yes.
That was my mother.
Did you, P.S., wash the thing?
I did.
What a good son-in-law.
I
The
did.
front
Well, I
porch.
didn't know any better.
Something could happen.
Oh, my family stories,
Walking
oh, we
over
have
here.
stories to tell you.
So can you spit that really quick?
No,
He sat over there.
Oh, it was so
I
funny.
didn't
want to be,
I didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
Rabbi.
Yes. Okay, that's very nice. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. This is the tail end of Hanukkah because Hanukkah lasts for 8 days. Why 8? Why not 6? Why not 7? I told you last week. I should tell you again? All right, I'll tell you really quick. What happens is that, of course, why do we know it's 8 days according to the Talmud? Something about oil.
You burned your finger.
Yes, I burned my finger. That was our customary way of spending the holy holiday. Okay. Well, because that's the method, that's the thing you get from the Talmud. In the Apocrypha, the books of the Apocrypha, which is a fancy way of saying books that didn't make it into the Hebrew Bible because we don't like them very much, it doesn't matter, and they were sucking up to the Romans. Yes, they were. Now, why 8 days? Because how long does Sukkot last? Very good. And how much is...
It's like going 1, 2, 3.
Come on, you're an accountant. 7 or 8.
There's a trick question there.
Do you want me to do it again?
8?
So
8. Because according to the first and second books of the Maccabees, in the Apocrypha, which in Hebrew are called Sefarim HaChitzoniyim, as the outside books. Because if somebody said, hey, what about that Apocrypha? Shh, we don't say anything. Shh. because if you have Sukkot, which lasts for 7 days, and you have one more day for Simchat Torah, how many days is that?
8.
That's why Hanukkah lasts for 8 days. You see?
I thought Hanukkah lasted 8 days because the oil lasted 8
Ah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
That's what I
There's a
said.
burn
Wait, here it
finger
comes.
somewhere.
That's what I said oilier. I never said that. Write it down for next year. Yeah. No, that's another explanation. You know, we're Jews. We never have just one explanation.
I never
for
heard
anything.
this one about
The Sukkot
No.
plus
Plus one.
Simchat Torah, which is the one.
I always-
I'll tell you why. It's because the Jews were not the Greeks are marching through the woods and the mountains and the hills. It's so hot, and they're wearing all this bronze armor. It's very chafing, and they finally. What happens is that the Jews, meanwhile, are up on the higher heights, and when the Greeks, I keep wanting to say Romans, but it wasn't the Romans yet, the Greeks are taking a rest, so the Jews will bounce a few rocks off their heads, and the Greeks get up to go, and the Jews move on, and so on and so forth. That's how they fought, because what the Greeks really like to fight is that you stand in your straight line with your pokey things. What do we call the pokey things?
Swords.
Swords, yes, longer than that.
Spears.
Spears, yes.
And you were a history major?
I didn't give enough information. It's my fault.
I figured it out.
That's very good. Okay, you're a math teacher. Okay. I'm still waiting for you with the 7 and the 1.
I figured it out, but
No, you're right. You don't get away from the oil and the
I mean, to me,
the
that
cruise
means
of
Hanukkah.
oil.
That's
Yes.
Hanukkah.
Yes.
The other story that I had heard was that because of the fighting going on at that point,
Yes.
that they missed
Sukkot.
Sukkot.
Yes.
And so they said, we're gonna celebrate it later on.
You
And
could
somehow
imagine.
that became
Yes.
Hanukkah.
Very good, because Chaim said to Moshe, Moshe, we missed Sukkot. He says, I told you not to miss it last year. You're missing it again this year. What are we going to do? Aha. We'll tell everybody that Narishkeit that we just made up about Sukkot plus not Pesach. If we stay here long enough, we could do it. But the problem was, seriously, the reason that Hanukkah never really got popular is because it was, who was the up-and-coming world power in those days? Who got invited in to help the Jews against the Greeks?
The Romans.
The Romans, yes. Also, they brought pasta, and they taught us how to make pizza using matzah. Not too many people know that, but it's true. Okay. So then the war is over, the Greeks leave, and the Jews say to the Romans, Romans, we are so grateful to you. Have a nice life. Good luck with that empire thing. We didn't try it ourselves. But the Romans say, oh no, we're staying. So because of this, because the Romans turned out to be a lot worse than the Greeks, the rabbis did not like the Greeks. The rabbis did not like the Romans. The rabbis did not like the Maccabees. Because who were the Maccabees after all? Were they Kohanim? Were they Leviim? Were they Shriners? They were Kohanim. Are Kohanim, are priests supposed to go into battle against bad guys, notwithstanding howsoever they are bad people? Yes. So that's why, again, the Hasmoneans, which is the trade name for the Maccabees, is another reason they didn't get popular. So I tell you, if you decide you don't like somebody, you'll pin it on anything. Any Kohanim here? Priests?
We have
Levites?
A Levi. We got a Levi.
A Levi, very nice. How's that going for you?
I wash a lot of hands.
Very good. So that's it, and Hanukkah's just about over. I hope that Father Mattathias left something under your Hanukkah bush. And I remember reading about this down south, where the Jews were so desperate to be accepted, they used to glaze a bagel and hang it on top of the tree. And glazed bagels are very hard to eat. I have trouble. All right, let's light candles. Ladies, would you proceed towards candles? And we'll light the candles. Very nice. Would they'd like to come? No? Okay, they're not from the lighters.
I never can do this, and I bet Anthony.
What? Oh, this?
Not there.
And he said, yeah, but she's good.
Please rise.
You have to hold the 3 pages.
Bubby didn't have one of those either. This Bubby does. Okay, we wave, we're bringing Shabbat, we cover our eyes. We wait a second.
I think it's your fan,
Oh, I didn't put that on.
It's catch.
Here, I'll turn
Okay,
it.
no,
There it is. No, 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 we got it.
No, we're waving, we're covering, we're blessing. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'mitzvotav. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, hadlik ner. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, hadlik ner. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu, hadlik ner. Shel Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. Happy post Hanukkah. Okay, good job.
Thank you.
I
I had to do something there.
Good job. This just goes there. This is what I want.
It's okay. I did that last night.
I love this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, you may be seated. Page 13 is the Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lai 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 ya 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 lai 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 Baruch Uni l'shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 14, we have Yedid Nefesh, which is one of several love stories where God is the groom, Israel is the bride, and frequently he flees her from a sort of Rapunzel-like fortress perched on the edge of the desert, and they rush off into the wilderness and live there for 40 years, and well, you know what happens there. Here we go. So may loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a darting deer, will I rush to you, before your glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with this thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. How splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, to heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure bathing in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. Die, 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 Let's continue now. On page 16, we'll do this responsively, or as an 8-year-old girl back in my previous pulpit used to say, let us now read responsibly, which is the best way to read, I think. Okay, sing a new song to Adonai, acclaim Adonai, all people on earth. Together, sing to Adonai, proclaim each day God's awesome might, announce to the world God's glory and wonders. For Adonai is great, deserving of praise. Adonai alone is to be revered as God. All the gods of the heavens are nothingness, but Adonai created the heavens. Majesty and might accompany God. Splendor and strength adorn God's sanctuary. Acknowledge Adonai, all families of nations. Acclaim God's majestic power. Acknowledge God's glory and bring him tribute. Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence. Declare to the world, Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world which stands firm, and judges all nations with fairness. Let the heavens rejoice, let the earth be glad, let the sea and all it contains exult. Let field and forest sing for joy.
Adonai comes to rule the earth.
To rule the world justly, the nations with faithfulness. Adonai kiva, kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, v'yamim b'emunato. We'll continue now. Page 21. Lecha jodi lecha kala, Hinei Shabbat nekabela, lecha jodi lekrat kala, Hinei Shabbat nekabela. Keep and remember were uttered as one by our Creator beyond comparison. Adonai is one, His name is one, reflected in glory, in fame, and in praise. Lecha jodi likrat kala, Hinei Shabbat nekabela. Come, let us read Shabbat, Queen sublime, fountain of blessings in every clime. Anointed and regal since earliest time, in thought she preceded creation 6 days. Lecha jodi likrat kala, Hinei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise. 22, the fourth stanza. We face the door through which the Sabbath Queen will enter. Toi v'shalom ateret bala, gam v'simcha u'tzala, toch emunei am sivula, boi chala, lecha jodi likrat kala, Hinei Shabbat nekabela. Please be seated. That translation, incidentally, was done by Rabbi Jules Harlow, who also edited the prayer book. Had the honor and pleasure of meeting him a number of years ago.
Unknown caller.
And that must be him now. Tell him I'll call him now. Well, Rabbi Harlow retired. And well, the incident of our little meeting, we were having one of those rabbi meetings where half of the people get tuna fish and the other half get egg salad. I do not know why. It's just one of those Jewish things. And I said, Rabbi Harlow, why was this particular line in the prayer book translated? He said, I don't really know. The fact is that I arrived on scene after that section was taken care of, which kind of tells you that when conservative rabbis get together, it takes a while for them to really get their head behind a piece of liturgy. But then he retired, and he needed something to do, and lo and behold, I heard that he had gone off to Vietnam because allegedly, see, this is what retired rabbis do. I will never do this, okay? Just be aware.
We're being boring.
Yes. You know what Jews do. They sit there and they say, Helen, bring fruit. Okay, so anyway, as soon as we meet Helen, I'll let you know. Okay. So what happened was he went off to Vietnam because apparently in these little countries, they find tribes of people who've been doing something very similar to Judaism for all these years. And the rabbis come and they put their fingers under their chins, which is how rabbis think. They go, obviously they're Jewish. And then they do this whole campaign to have them accepted, at least by the conservative movement, because the Orthodox will say, what are you talking? They're not Jewish. Leave them alone. And the Reform was saying, aha, we discovered they were Jewish last week. Okay. Let's do the last 4 stanzas on page 23. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble together. But me you have greatly exalted. I am anointed with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the doom of my attackers. The righteous, it's despair, it's doom, it's not good. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Plant in the house of the Adonai. They will thrive in the courts of our God. They shall bear fruit together even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant to proclaim, Adonai is just, my rock in whom there is no flaw. And the last 4 lines. Tzadika tamai ifrach ki erez balvanon yizkeh shetulim beveit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu odinuvun b'seva tishenim b'rananim yehu lehagid ki yashar Adonai Suri Elo Avlatabo. So when we moved down here, I was really very excited. I was coming to a wonderful congregation, but also I was finally going to answer several questions in my mind about palm trees. What's the deal with palm trees? Are palm trees mighty? Are palm trees flourishing? Are palm trees able to withstand the trepidations of nature? Anybody on this one?
Will the above.
They bend.
They bend, but do they break?
Nope.
So how come after the terrible hurricanes, God forbid, poo, Kinara, the people go out and they discover a great many palm trees have bit the dust, so to speak? Is
Well, I
that
think it's the fronds that are stripped from them, but I don't think.
the fronds?
The fronds are stripped, but I don't think the tree is tied.
I see. Oh, okay. Because this, frankly, these 2 quartets are the only thing I absolutely know about palm trees. Let's see, they'll bear fruit even in old age, because they taught us in yeshiva. And if you're getting your agricultural information from Orthodox rabbis, this is not going to work out well. They say the trees, the branches, the roots, that's it, the roots from the palm trees are going all the way down, because in the desert there's not much water. I discovered this myself. And they say if you're in the desert, you have to look down very deep for water. And so I come to Florida, where water we got plenty, and the trees just kind of go, and they fall over.
Well, I came up with an answer, I don't know if it's correct,
Well,
but it
of
sounded
course.
good, didn't it?
That's it, Okay. All right, thank you. You can put the prayer books aside. We're going to have a little study of the Torah portion, not the entire Torah portion. This is a very nice Torah portion. because it displays for one and all to see the difficulties that Jews have with their relatives. Which great Israelite leader is already in Egypt? His name rhymes with Shmosef. Okay.
Oh, we know.
Is this like this?
Yes, exactly. And you know what? This holiday, had no idea. Wasn't coming up for a while yet. Okay. Well, what happens is Joseph has come down. He has had quite a time. What a time he's having, where he comes to town and he immediately is brought into slavery because apparently he is quite a fellow and he works out. He always worked out at the health club in Canaan and places like that. So he is immediately brought into slavery by Mr. and Mrs. Potiphar. And Potiphar's wife is known as Mrs. Potiphar. Actually, I think it was William Faulkner who named her Zuleika. Zuleika Potiphar. Now, come on, you got to date a girl like that, really. But Mrs. Potiphar is casting a lustful shadow on our boy Joseph. And what does she decide she wants to do with him? A, she wants to buy him lunch. B, she would like that he should vacuum behind the sofa.
Use power washer.
Yes. You'll have to call in an outside consultant. Yes. Very good. Number three, she is casting a wandering eye on our boy.
Of course, number 3.
And she puts hands on him, and he says, "Excuse me, madam, since I am the #1 servant here in the house, you cannot be doing that sort of thing because my boss, Mr. Potiphar himself, is, who, rumor has it, he was a eunuch. So how he was scoring in that direction, I really can't say. Yeah, it's a midrash. You could look it up.
It's a midrash?
A midrash. It's a legend, but not if you're in the 7th grade. No.
Okay.
You gotta wait till you're in postdoctorate, then they show you. All right. So in the meantime, he's very worried because of Mrs. Potiphar. She keeps, giving him the goo-goo eyes. Did they have that when you were growing up? The goo-goo eyes?
Sure.
Yes. See? Because they would say, "Watch it, she's giving you the goo-goo eyes." You didn't have goo-goo eyes in Canarsie? That's it. All right. So he's not doing too well because the missus finally makes a serious full-on pass at him, and he runs out into the street in slightly more than the altogether. And Potiphar comes home immediately because he's just bought his first cell phone. And she says, "This Hebrew slave whom you have purchased at a bargain rate, and you have brought before us to mock us, he made a pass at me, and I will not stand for this, because after all, I am Mrs. Potiphar." So they put him in jail. But you see, the thing with Joseph's story is it's all the Wheel of Fortune is up or the Wheel of Fortune is down. Who was the last host on Wheel of Fortune? This is not that kind of Wheel of Fortune. This is just a wheel. And they put him in jail, but as soon as he gets into jail, the chief jailer is coming down the hall, and he says, "Oh, that nice young man over there, I'm going to make him my trustee." Now, a trustee in jail is not like a trustee on a charitable or fund. What sort of trustee is Joseph? He gets to give out the mail. He gets to give the boys, you have meeting room number 6 with your lawyer, things like that. That's the kind of trustee he is. And eventually what happens is that Pharaoh starts to dream. Now when we have dreams, what does it signify? We moderns, we postmoderns. Okay.
Something's going on in our life.
I'm not a
Yes.
psychologist.
Psychologist, yes. Well, the reason, of course, the reason we invented psychology is because we need it.
Yeah, that I agree with.
So, Pharaoh has a dream. He's standing by the river, and he sees that there are 7 and 7, 14 cows, okay? And, did I get that one right?
If you take away 2, you get 1.
And Pharaoh is dreaming of the cows, and while he's standing there gazing upon them, he notices that some of them are very skinny and awful looking, and the other ones are chubby, and pretty in good shape. So anyway, he is very surprised to see that the skinny cows eat the fat cows. But wait, there's more. He dreams the next night that he sees 7 skinny ears of corn. I don't think it's corn, because corn, what you call maize, is, but they had some different kind of corn. I'm not really sure what it was. I think it was canned corn. Okay, so, cream corn. You never get cream corn anymore.
Oh, it's the one at the store.
Okay.
It's so
I don't
sweet.
like it.
I don't like it. It's like so 60s is what it was.
It is very 60s. All right, and there's always red stuff in it, and I didn't know what the red stuff was.
Maybe somebody put pimento in it, I don't know.
Is that it?
I like cream spinach.
Oh, not for me. Okay, so, one thing and another, Pharaoh says, what is your particular talent? And he says, well, I can interpret dreams. And Pharaoh says, you're my boy, because I've been dreaming these dreams all week, for 2 weeks, whatever. Nobody tells me what it's about. And it turns out that Egypt is going to have a terrible famine. Now, was Egypt prone to famining? No, they were not. As a matter of fact, Egypt came this close to being the breadbasket of the Middle East. Now, if you're living in Israel, oh, good luck with that, because Israel did not have a decent water supply until the Romans came along and built them an aqueduct. It's just a word I love to say all the time, aqueduct. And eventually what happens is that they have, and Joseph says, listen to me, Pharaoh. Listen, you won't go wrong. What happens is that when you have the 7 years of plenty, you should gather in all of your surplus. And when you have the 7 years of famine, you'll be able to eat the surplus. And Pharaoh says, I have no idea. This boy is definitely beyond brilliant. He says, I must give you a job in the very first job in the Egyptian civil service, which happens to be being in charge, the Minister of Agriculture. Here in Chabad, they always get a little carried away. He's governor of Egypt. You can't be governor of Egypt if you already have a king. Well, leave that alone. And he marries him off. He marries Osnat, the daughter of Potiphar. She probably wasn't the daughter of Potiphar. It's just a very popular name, because that way, if you call Potiphar, Potiphar, all the little kids come to you from the preschool. And they have 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Which one is the elder and which one is the younger? It's actually Ephraim who's the elder. And later on, when Jacob is blessing them, he crosses his hands. And Joseph says, Papa, what you doing? He says, well, this one's going to be greater than this one. So that's what he does. Then they do this whole sort of opera with a cup. There's a special cup that only Benjamin has, and he puts it in the bag, and Joseph takes it out and puts it in a different bag, and he gives him more grain, and it looks like the provisions have been mysteriously returned to them. Eventually, the cup winds up in the right place, and what's going to happen now? Where are the Israelites going to go? Currently, they're living in Canaan. Where are they moving to?
Egypt.
Egypt, very good. And that's how we wind up in Egypt. And that doesn't work out well. But without the next book, we wouldn't have a lot of bar mitzvahs. For some reason, most of the mitzvahs seem to come from Shemot, from the book of Exodus. Okay? Any questions, any comments? All right. And I am just as stirred as you. So let's go on. The Baruch Hu on page 28. Please rise. We bow towards the ark. If I can get a couple of people to open the ark. Okay. Gail and Stan, if you would do the honors, please. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Ve'olam Bo'ed. Amen. Thank you very much. Hashkoach. You can leave the doors open. Thank you. Very good. Please be seated. Well, things have been pretty rocky in the Holy Land, so we're going to read On page 29, the bottom right, your love has embraced us always, in wilderness and in promised land, in good times and in bad. Night and day your Torah sustains us, reviving the spirit, delighting the heart, informing the soul, opening the eyes, or granting us a glimpse of eternity. Because of all the love, we shall embrace Torah night and day, in devotion and delight. Beloved are you, Adonai, whose Torah reflects your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisroel. Amen. Page 30, we cover the eyes for the Shema. Shema Yisroel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto, Leolam Voed. Let's read the English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and on your gates. The Mi Chamocha on page 32. Now, what's significant about the Mi Chamocha around Hanukkah time is that Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai. Mem, Kaf, Bet, Yud. And that spells out Maccabi. Okay. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha Nedor Ba'kodesh. Nehorati Lot. Osei Vele, Alchucharo Vanecha, Okeyam Lifnei Moshe, Seili Anu V'Yamru, Adonai Imloch Yolam Vahed, V'nemar, Kifad Adonai et Yaakov, U'Gyalo Miad Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Goal Yisroel. Amen. Let's read this paragraph for Refuah Shalema, that the folks who are not well should be getting better soon. I'm going to read those names. Sheila Bergman, Refuah Shalema. Joel Lubar, Refuah Shalema. Baby Ella Rose, Refuah Shalema. Jeffrey Stern, Refuah Shalema. Rachel Spearer, Refuah Shalema. Vince and Patricia Massey, Refuah Shlema. Susan Cohen, Refuah Shlema. Diane Massey, Refuah Shlema. Eleanor Kirshner, Refuah Shlema. Any other names?
Michael Firestone.
Refuah Shlema.
Luke Smarter.
Refuah Shlema.
Gary Ways.
Refuah Shlema.
Steve again.
Refuah Shlema. Okay, let's read the top paragraph on page 33 in the English. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shadow us, and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Yifros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Aporei Sukat Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisroel, ve'al Yerushalayim, el kol ha'olam kulo. Amen. Page 34. V'shamru v'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat, v'asot et ha-Shabbat, Lidor Taberito Olam. Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam Berit Olam Beini uvein B'nei Yisrael Oti Liolam Oti Liolam Oti Liolam Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam Berit Olam Uvayom Hashvi Shabbat Vaynafash Shabbat Vaynafash Shabbat Vaynafash Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam Berit Olam. Please rise for the half Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Amen. Yom Divrach Cherutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayed chol Beit Yisrael Agala Agala Uv'izman Kariv V'yimeru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivorach V'yolam Yomaya Yiborach Yiborach V'yishtabach Yiporach Yishomam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Nekudisha Brichu Liela In Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbecha V'nechemata Tamihira V'alema V'yimeru Amen. The Amidah, the standing silent prayer, 35b to 38. When you're done, you may be seated. No more prayers for Hanukkah. The holiday ends tonight. Sorry. And we do, however, say Ya'aleh V'yavo. That is the special prayer for the new month. If you haven't finished the Amidah, please continue. We'll continue on page 47 with the Magen Avot. This is sort of a précis, a summary of the Amidah, the standing silent prayer that we just did. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, U'el Gadol Hagidol V'Nora, El Elyon, Bonei Shamayim V'Aretz. Mogen Avot B'Dvaro, Mechayei Metim B'Mamaro, Oel HaKadosh Shein Kamohu, Hameniach Li'amo, B'Yom Shabbat Kodsho, Kivam Ratza Le'haniach Lahem, Kivam Ratza Le'haniach Lahem, Lefanav Navod B'Yirav V'Pachad, V'noteh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Be'ein HaBrachot. El HaHodahot Adon HaShalom Mikadesh HaShabbat Borech Shvi Umeniach Kedusha Le'amidu Shnei Oneg Zecher Lemaseh V'Reishit Zecher Lemaseh V'Reishit. This is the full Kaddish, followed by the Aleinu, followed by the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkara v'ikara Shemei Rabba Amein B'yalma Dibrach Yerutevim Lich Machutei B'chayei Chon V'mechon V'chayei L'chol Beit Yisrael B'agalav V'zman Kariv Yimru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Yolam Yol Me'ol Maya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishavach Yitpoar V'yitrumam V'yitnaseh Yitadar Yitalev Yitalal Shmei D'Kudesha B'Yirchu Elam Min Kol Bechata V'Shirata Tishbachata V'Nachamata Damiran B'Yalma V'Yimru Amen Titkabal Slotan Avutam L'Chai Yisrael Kedam Avudi V'Shmaya V'Yimru Amen V'Hei Shalom Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Chai Yisrael V'Yimru Amen V'Oseh Shalom B'Mromav V'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael Imru Amen Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Imru Amen. Okay, we're passing out the wine, the juice. Page 49. Savrinu Adonai Rabbanan Rabbatai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei pri hagafen Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu zatav ratzavanu V'shabbat kadsho b'avav ratzon Inchilanu Zikaron l'maseh v'reshit Kihu yom techila L'mikrae kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Ivanu Acharta, Betanu Kidasha, Miko Amin, Shabbat Kachecha, Be'ava Uvratzon, in Chaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, B'kadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim, l'shalom, l'simcha.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm part of it. That's why I make the colorful orange
No, I know, I
juice
know.
and, because I forget.
Well, now we know your secret.
Okay, the Aleinu is on page 51. Richard, I lost my opening beyond. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, latei gedula liatzer breshit, shelo asanu b'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam elkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu k'chol hamonam, v'achnu korim, V'shachavim u'odim Lifnei melech Malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosei haaretz Moshe v'karo V'mahal U'shchinatu zo B'gavei meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu, Efes Uloto, Kakatu, B'Torato, V'yadatayam, Ashevota, El Levavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, B'Shamayim, B'Mahal, V'Haaretz mitachat einod v'nemar v'Adonai l'melech haaretz hayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad, U'shemo echad. On 52, I'm asking you all to please remain standing in memory of our Israeli brothers and sisters who lost their lives during the current conflict. Terrible, terrible atrocity. And I have names also. We are saying Kaddish tonight for Mr. Kurt Eisen, of blessed memory, who is Stan Eisen's father, and also Ruth Obligorski, who is Gail's mother, also of blessed memory. And my sister-in-law, Janie Lowenstein, whose Hebrew name was Yocheved Masha Bat Avram Simcha Baruch V'Hintalea. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabba Amen. Yalmad Yivrach Yirutei v'yamliach Malchutei. V'chayei Chon v'chon v'chayei Kol Beit Yisrael. V'agalo v'zman Kariv v'yamru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Li'olam U'Me'al Mayom. Yitporach v'yishtabach Ha'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Dekudusha B'Ri'u. V'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'amiran v'yomah v'yimru amen. V'hei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom v'momav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. Please be seated. Don Olam, obviously. And for no particular reason, I'm going to be doing it to the tune of, not the naughty lady, the shady lady. Well, you'll figure it out. Adon Olam Hashem Allah V'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra V'Yetz Nachla V'Chetzo Kol Hazai Elashon Nikra Ole Hernandez Hideaway V'Hare Kiflot HaKol Leva Ado Yimloch Nora V'Hu Haya Vehu Hove, Vehu Yeh B'Tifora, Ole, Vehu Echad Yeh Sheni, Lehan Shilo, Lehafira, Veli Reshit, Veli Tachlit, Velo Aus V'Hamisra, Ole, Vehu Eli, Chayko Ali, V'Tzor, Hevli, Yetzara, Vehu, Nisi, Umanasli, Venat, Kosi, Biomekra, Ole, Via, Ado, Afi, Bruchi, Via, Tishan, Via, Hira, Via, Bruchi, Giviati, Adonai, live in Lo-Ira, Ole. I always looked upon Damn Yankees as sort of a Bush League, guys and dolls, but it has its moments. Okay, please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you, be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha, yasem lecha shalom. The Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom. All right, we will repair to the rotunda for the refreshments, and thank you so much for coming.
Tina sends her love to everybody. She'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
She told me to tell you.
We will
Used to
lose
rock
the touch
rotunda
getting
book.
in here, and I didn't give you a copy.
You know, I always call it the
I look
pavilion.
tired.
Because in New Hampshire, there was a
Watching babies.
mental hospital